You live, but are you living the way you want to live, or the way others want you to live? You choose, but are your choices based on your own decisions, or on the decisions imposed on you by society? You act, but are you acting out of your conditioning or out of your conscious will? Almost everywhere you look, you will see that people are immensely suppressed and experience tremendous suffering, mainly because they conform to those around them, just so that they can feel liked and accepted. They are afraid that embracing and honestly expressing their individuality might lead them to social ostracism. Their life is a slow torture, and with every step they take, they feel the burden of conformity growing heavier and heavier on their shoulders. They sacrifice themselves just so they can please others, unaware that they are committing psychological suicide. But what's the point in living that way? It's meaningless and utterly stupid. Life can be lived in a totally different way, a way that allows us to live up to our full potential, that helps us find contentment and peace, that brings us freedom to be spontaneous and make the most of our life's journey. A way that turns existence into celebration, filled with beautiful moments that make life truly worth living. For this to happen, we need a big shift in our consciousness. And a good first step to achieving this is to escape the herd mentality that surrounds us by rebelling against anything that is imprisoning our minds and filling our souls with a toxic energy. When you gather the courage to say no to conformity and break free from the mental shackles that were imposed on you since the day you were born, great things will start happening that may turn your life upside down. And when you rebel against the herd, you begin to develop critical thinking. Once you turn your back on the crowd, your way of thinking slowly stops being influenced by it and you start using reason more. This works wonders for increasing your own intelligence. Most people don't think for themselves, and instead they let others do the thinking for them. They are easily persuaded by the herd mentality and never stop for a moment to question anything that they've been told. They are blinded by belief and follow without doubt in what is considered to be a normal way of living. And desiring to be normal, they lose their individuality, and the intellectual consequences of this are enormous. They can barely use their critical thinking, and their willpower is almost non-existent. And not surprisingly, when faced with any problems, their only hope is that someone else will help them overcome them. And by themselves, they feel totally helpless. When you step away from the confines of the herd and start your own quest for truth, you begin to hone the art of free thinking. You don't believe anything without evidence, and you don't accept what doesn't resonate with your own experiences, and you try to find what's true for yourself. In your efforts to achieve this, you will mature and become wiser, and learn to make more conscious choices that contribute to your personal well-being. Another thing that happens is that when you become honest with yourself, and indeed others, you let go of the social mask that you've been wearing to pretend that you were someone that you never were, and to reveal to the world who you truly are. You expose yourself unafraid of whether others will judge you or not. And in the society that we're living in, hypocrisy prevails. People constantly lie to one another just so that they can feel accepted by the mob, but at the same time, they experience emotional turbulence because they never manage to accept themselves as they are. And when you don't like yourself for who you are, what is the point of being liked by others for who you're not? The moment you stop desiring others' acceptance, you begin to express yourself. You don't need anyone else's permission. You don't suppress yourself, and naturally your stress levels drop, which makes you feel much better than you've ever felt before. In addition, you're able to form genuine relationships with human beings who truly resonate with you and embrace you just the way you are. Responsibility and freedom always go hand in hand, so the more responsible one is, the more freedom one experiences. People tend to throw responsibility away and hold others responsible for their lives. By doing so, however, they are throwing away their freedom. Not only that, they also blame others whenever something is wrong with their lives. That's why you see people believe in saviours of all kinds and allow a few individuals, for example politicians, to take control over their lives. But once they find out that those people don't fulfil their expectations, they start blaming them for ruining their lives, not realising that they themselves are at fault for handing over their power to them in the first place. The herd always desires a good shepherd to take care of it. A rebel, however, doesn't allow anyone the freedom to dictate to him how to live. On the contrary, he sees himself as the creator of his own destiny and takes full responsibility for his actions. And instead of blaming others when he happens to make mistakes, he fully accepts them and takes immediate action to correct them. And by doing this, you become the master of your life. A rebel doesn't walk on a predetermined path, they create their own path. A rebel never lets others take their thought and behaviour, they think for themselves, and their actions are the embodiment of their psyche. A rebel lives to the fullest and squeezes the juices out of life, and although they might make many mistakes in their efforts to turn their dreams into reality, they're not filled with regrets, because even if ultimately they fail, they at least know that they tried their very best.